I grew up in Tupelo, Mississippi. Joined the police department there in 1976. Stayed there about 3 years, and then I joined the Mississippi Alcoholic Beverage Control, which is a law enforcement division that handles liquor enforcement in the state of Mississippi. Worked there for 32 years and retired in 2012. And at that time, there was an opening with GLOCK, and I came on with GLOCK. So I've actually been with GLOCK going into my 5th year right now. Still get to do things with law enforcement agencies that, especially in Mississippi, I know all these guys that are the chiefs and sheriffs and the older guys that are still around. And so it's, I still get to visit with those guys in my job. I did about 3¼ years with the police department there in Tupelo, and then I did 32 years with Alcoholic Beverage Control. I became the trainer, director of training for them. I've been doing training. I went to my first firearms instructor school in 1982. I've been basically doing training since then. I've been to numerous law enforcement schools, firearms instructor schools, FBI National Academy. Been a reserve, so I've actually got about 38 years in law enforcement as a whole. We've always had that underage drinking problem that we never, the United States never really admitted it to some degree until a few years ago, and when groups like Mothers Against Drunk Drivers came out and brought that to a focus. And there were a lot of grant money, and when I was there were a lot of grant money and that kind of stuff to work those kind of details. And the kids think, well, we're sort of crashing their party, but when you go back and look at statistics, that push has saved a lot of lives over the years. Law enforcement training as a whole has progressed totally. I give you an example. Back probably 20 years ago, when we looked at statistics, a lot of the shootings were up close and personal, so everybody went to shooting fast and up close. And then when we went back to, say, 25 yards, we realized couldn't anybody hit anything because we had been focusing all the training up close and personal. So we had to go back. It takes a little bit, you got to find the perfect medium there to do a little bit of both. You've got to have your basic skills, you got to have accuracy, you got to have speed, and if you go too fast, your accuracy goes out the window. So I've seen a lot of things progress over the years that are very good, and we're focusing now a lot on, in the training aspect, more on real world, what's on the street, we're training like it happened on the street instead of just punching paper targets like we used to do years and years ago. I have a pretty good relationship with most of the agencies. I visit those agencies. I'm not really a sales guy per se. I don't really go in and sell. If they're looking at new guns, I go in, present the guns to them, let them shoot them, do the demos. I'm the first point of contact with GLOCK. If they need something, they call me. The gun has 34 parts basically. It's very simple. It's replacement parts. You break a trigger, trigger bar, you put a new trigger bar in, you're good to go. There have been tests in the past where they took 10 guns or whatever and took all the parts, dumped them in a basket, and then just started grabbing parts and putting them back in the gun, and all the guns work. Very, very simple gun, and it's a workhorse of a gun. It will take it, but very simple to fix if you have a problem. In Biloxi, I think GLOCK actually did a story on Biloxi PD because their guns went underwater in salt water during Hurricane Katrina and basically washed them off, and the guns kept kicking. GLOCK has a top-of-the-line customer service. If you have a problem with a gun, these agencies have a problem with the gun, and instead of, if we can fix the gun or look at the gun in the field, that's what we're out here for. I'll drive to an agency and see what the problem is. And a lot of times the problem's not as severe as what they think it is. There are other factors that come in there. But we're a company that prides ourselves on customer service. We actually go out there and meet the guys, deal with a problem if there is a problem, and we take care of the problem if there's an issue. If it's something we can fix on the scene, if that's well and good. If not, if we have to send the gun back to the factory, we make sure the turnaround is a quick time for these agencies that they can get their gun back. But you see us out here in the field. We work these law enforcement shows. We're out here at the agencies. We're responding. We've driven 3 or 4 hours one day just to go look at a gun because an agency had a problem with it. And turned out it wasn't the gun, it was another issue. But that's the kind of service we provide for these agencies out here. And they know that our customer service is #1. You know, Glock has the best gun on the market. We have the best customer service on the market. So that's the reason right there that we have 65% of the law enforcement sales in the United States.